Uncharted Drake's Deception was meant to be the last Uncharted game with Nathan Drake in it, and was the last one in the Nathan Drake collection. Before we start, fun fact, this was meant to be after The Last of Us, but let's begin. Chapter 1 is when we meet. Who knows, I'd be honest, compared to the other games, I remember what treasure and what the new characters that we meet are called, but I completely forget these new characters. The closest two I remember are Charles Cutter, and barely some. But speaking of character, this is Talbot, who is voiced by Robin Atkin.
Wait a goddamn minute.
Robin Atkin Downs.
You again?
If I had a nickel every time I review a game with Robin Atkin Downs, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but weird that it happened twice. And Cutter being played by Graham McTavish. Wait.
You again?
The same guy who plays Lazarevic in the last game.
That's the last time I ever
Mention recasting in this review. So we were making an agreement for a lot of money for Nate's ring, but the money was fake, so the deal was off.
You're a thief. Well now, that's ironic.
Get out and meet Catherine Marlowe. I remember they refer to her as just Marlowe, who is played by Rosalind Ayres. Then Cutter shoots us. This chapter is set in the past 20 years ago, and we see a young Nathan Drake, who is played by Billy Younger.
Maybe upstairs.
Wait a goddamn minute.
Nate trying to get his ring and the Dial of Destiny, so Nate sees Sully try and steal it, so we get thrown out and follow Sully, and he tries to perfect the key in a key shop, so we see his good friends with Marlowe, so he takes his wallet and he chases us down.
Crap.
And they even bond a bit, so Nate gives Sully the wallet but not the key. In chapter 3, it was later in the evening he tries to get the ring and the cipher disc. Wait, I don't think they ever mentioned the name of the disc at any point, so chapter 3 is when we get both items. But Marlowe takes the cipher disc and we leave with the ring. Sully turns on them to protect us. We find a quiet bar and talk about the items. They mention how Sir Francis Drake found something that had to be kept a secret because of how big it was, and its mission from the Queen Big.
I see great things in our future, kid. Great things.
Guess what lies ahead? Only one way to find out.
All right, lads?
It turns out Cutter was playing them.
Could have pulled a couple of those punches, Charlie.
What do you mean? I hardly touched you.
You headbutted me.
Potting kettle. So they tricked them with a fake ring and move to chapter 4. It also turns out Cutter is claustrophobic, and I'm surprised Nate judges him, even though he mentions how he's glad he isn't claustrophobic in the last game.
God, I'm not claustrophobic.
So they meet Chloe and who is their getaway, and we have to find a way for the rest to get in, so Nate finds a way for them all to get in. I also like how you can see the treasures on the floor, instead of a white spark. We open the door finding out it was a hideout, and I like how it opens by a car, so each member stands on where a wheel would be, and shine the light to identify it's a car, which is pretty smart. The team make it into the tunnel, as Chloe waits outside to be the getaway.
She's the best driver in the business, you know.
Clearly you've seen her ride before, Cutter. And inside we slowly make it to where Marlowe is.
400 years of searching.
What did you say?
400 years.
400 years.
What is holding this woman together?
So it was the fake, so Nate switched it after he checked the ring. So from being just as easy to trick than Crash Bandicoot,
I need your help.
to being 5 steps ahead, like Nick Fury in one game, I am impressed. So they get down and the cipher disc is a translator that says long hidden.
What?
There's some problems with this disc. 1. The translator letters are out of sync with the English letters. 2. I counted 22 alphabets in that language, instead of 26. 3. Both the 2 N's and the 2 D's have 2 different alphabet letters as each other. 4. The G alphabet isn't even the same.
Objection!
But anyway, it's an anagram saying Golden Hind, Sir Francis ship. So they need to find a golden statue that was part of the Sir Francis Drake ship that was in the room. So they find a map within it, and they leave, and the team figure out to go to Syria and France. Chloe and Cutter go to Syria and we and Sully go to France. The next chapter, us and Sully are in France. We need to find something within, and we get inside a mansion with us letting Sully in. As a heads up, apparently they have actual locks on the windows, and we have a room with moving some knight statues. We need to face the knight that look at each other, pay attention to the weapons they have and face them to that weaponed knight.
Well, well. A secret passage.
Head for the fireplace!
These ropes are...
We head in, and we head out, and somehow Marlowe's men and Talbot are here, and their excuse for being here is they were followed. I really find that to be a lazy excuse. As much as I hated Harry, at least they explained with him and Lazarevic how they get to Marco Polo's shipwreck, only having that one time. But I know Nathan Drake and the rest are smart enough to leave the country undetected. You know what? I'm just gonna say this is the excuse.
Who posted my nudes on Twitter.com?
So both Nate and Sully face them and defeat them. Before we carry on, I like how the grenades can be thrown back at the enemies. With them defeated, they find this room.
What the hell? It's one of Talbot's men.
Was? That's impossible. They just got here.
I am not fighting these things again. So we get into a room and I like how detailed this puzzle is. It's actually one of my favorites. This puzzle requires you to move 4 symbols in the right place, and you have to light the floor in the different directions to figure out where they go. We get in and find half a amulet. Then Talbot finds us and we give half the amulets to him. Just at least he drew it down. Chapter 7 is when we start with some spiders surrounding us, and the light of the fire holds them back. Kinda reminds me of the scene from Indiana Jones. So we run from them and, well, Talbot decides to burn it down. Also, I like how in combat, Nathan Drake pulls the grenade pin and kicks the enemy away. Before we carry on, these guys can take more shots than bloaters. Who do they think they are? Senator Armstrong. So the tower burns down and we get out and head to Syria to warn Chloe and Charles. But before we do,
You got your pride all tangled up in this thing. It's making you reckless.
remember this line. We get to Syria and find the two. They figured that Sir Francis Drake and many others was part of an organized that controlled people by fear. Keep that in mind.
Hey, guys.
Wait. So Marlowe and her crew
Are the same secret order 400 years on.
Well, at least that line doesn't sound so weird now.
400 years.
It's practically go through the tower and attack some enemies. And, this happened. And this, and that actual cutscene by the way, so we gotta follow the stars. It's a bit weird on how they activate the scene since it has to be on point. So we gotta run, and Nate and Cutter get separated from Sully and Chloe, find the room, but it's empty. But then, there's another place to look, and yeah, have to have it very specific. We head there and meet up with Chloe and Sully. As we end them goes to the corner, Talbot shoots Charles with this. I don't think they ever explain what it is. They use it only 2 times but that's it. So it makes you see crazy things. So basically it's like if you were 5 times drunk. We head and we're in chapter 9. Inside the thing that made Charles mad also made him a bit controlled. So he fights us and just snaps out of it. Right before Sully was about to shoot him, they head in and another puzzle. This time you must get it ready and set up. To do that, torches. That'll activate the water. Speaking of water, how is being underwater more brighter than it is to be out of water? Chapter 8 and 9 is a perfect example, because it's so dark I could barely see. So you move a light on the specific location and find the second half of the amulet. Cutter holds onto it, and immediately Charles had to give it to Talbot. But he wasn't mind control, so he shoots Talbot and we run. Then Charles gets to a corner and Talbot was alive from the shot.
What the hell?
How is that possible? I shot him.
Who does he think he is? Billy Butcher. Then he gives the other half of the amulet, and even when he had the chance to jump earlier avoid giving it to them, he decides now. I have so many questions. 1. Why didn't you give Nate a hint you were faking? He even mentions to give him a wink.
Might have given us a wink or something.
2. Why didn't you mark it and then destroy it? 3. Why not shoot all at once when they wasn't expecting it? 4. Why not get to the corner and avoid needing to jump altogether? I don't know, but this scene wasn't exactly the best, but as we were. Cutter jumps, but is fine. Just broken a leg. So we escape on the bus, and even though it was marketed as the last Uncharted game at the time, Chloe Fraser never show up in this game again. Speaking of, she does say something to Nate before she does leave.
What are you trying to prove?
Remember this in the future, and we meet Elena again, and they ain't on the love relationship grounds again. History never repeats itself, hey. So we get to this city in chapter 10. We need to find a very old building, with the symbol with the amulet on it. So we find that and even chase down Talbot, and he throws us through a window, and we're in. We get in a building and into chapter 11 with us looking for where the moon will show the way, meaning you look for the symbol on the floor and use the map to pull 3 levers at the same time. Now there's 2 puzzles here. One is finding a light and placing it in the right location. You want it pointed close to the symbol by it. The next puzzle is to move gears to turn clockwise and anti-clockwise. 4 circles clockwise and crosses anti-clockwise. Then we find a room with stars. That location's the RM of the pillars. Nate wants Sully to remember it instead of writing it down, so they leave. Elena also tells Nate to drop the treasure.
Listen, you've won, okay? You've outsmarted her. You know where to find the city, and Marlowe doesn't. Why can't that be enough?
And I like it, because she remembered how well the past 2 has gone.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Nate gets shot by one of those darts and he goes crazy, and Mallow practically says,
What the? How long has that been there?
So we rage and chase Talbot down. I like how when he shuts the door on us, we then open another door to where he was going to. Then we fight him and we get knocked out. And in a mysterious location with this pirate wanting to bargain with us. His name is Ramesses.
You forgot one very important thing, mate. I'm Captain
Ramesses, played by Syed Badria. The pirate wants Nathan Drake to let him to the treasure. That's why he kept him alive, and he mentions having Sully. So the next few chapters we got on their ships and mainly a lot of action. We escape, then travel through the ships without any weapons, until we sneak attack some members and climb a bit, get close to the docking point, and getting even more closer to the ship that they have Sully on.
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen. So it would seem.
So we make it on by luck, have a fight with some members, and jump to ship on ship. Then we're on a proper big ship, like our actual cruise, and fight some more pirates. Even this thing, and let me tell you, is hard to take down.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
We finally found Sully. Wait, where is Sully? He lied to us and the ship is now flooding, so we almost make it out. Now here's something I like. If you destroy the glass, it'll flood the room with water. So the pirate does it and we run. And wash up in the same location Elena was in a very bandicoot way, and Elena helps us get to the plane before it leaves. So we make our way to the plane, of course with some problems. I don't think greatness is small begins. but more think alike. So we leave Elena and go after the plane ourselves. Even though she was one of the most prominent characters of the whole Uncharted series, yet again is left behind as well as Chloe. But anyway, they practically redo the scene from Captain America the First Avenger and we get on the plane and into chapter 17. And my god, is it a fun sequence when you're hanging off the plane and have to jump back in the plane. It was a scene that the Uncharted team remade in the movies. Before I carry on, I just want to talk about the film. I'm surprised they didn't use any of the first 2 games set pieces in this film. And Morton Drake's deception and atheist end. I even checked the end credit and apparently, Gabriel Roman was meant to be in the sequel.
If you tell me what Roman wants with my ring.
And I'm guessing that's Eddie, due to the fact that his golden gun, and is working for Roman again. But continuing, we crash into this crate and open the parachute, and into chapter 18.
How long is this going to take?
So we carry on and finally get to chapter 19. So we head inside a building, and it doesn't even seem like there's water, although I do wonder after thinking about it, how did Nate survive without water? We bust through this door and Nate is alright to fight, despite the fact he was walking through a desert for days without water, so we gun them down. And meet this man named Sam, who is voiced by TJ Ramini, and we destroy the doors, and he explains how the treasure has an evil twist to it, called the Djinn.
Now here's the critical part.
It's so boring.
So they make a type of deadly alliance and stop Marlowe. They ride out. It actually reminds me a lot of Indiana Jones. So they fight against the cars and save Sully, and we had to face a sandstorm head on. So we must stick as a team. Yeah, we may have charged with confidence, but we really lost each other very, 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 very easily. So it's up to Nate and Sully to stop them. They make it to the Rim of the Pillars in chapter 21. So we drink some water and Sully gets shot, and now we get introduced to the new big mysterious creature, and it's practically Ghost Riders. Now I do wonder why introduced them here. In the second last chapter, Naughty Dog could save themselves a load of time without modeling and animating new details, like teleporting. Sure, they're the cheapest one out of the 3, but come on, this is pulling stuff out of your colon. So we chase down Talbot and we keep seeing weird stuff. So we get to chapter 22 when we're out of that world. So we shoot a bit and find Sully, but is real.
Ow!
Wait a goddamn minute.
Wow, did you just say ow? Yet you say nothing after this. It turns out the water drove the people mad.
No, it's not the water. It's what's in the water.
Come again?
Oh man.
Back to topic. Marlowe wants the powers that control the madness water, the Djinn, which I think is really dumb. For one, you're planning to get a giant thing out of here, which isn't exactly easy in a place like this, and not to mention you'll need to put it in something the size of at least a mansion. Also, pollution is sadly a very common thing to see, and if a drop of that water hits the ocean, then you could no longer drink fresh water. Let's look at Lazarevic again. He wanted the power of Shambhala, to become invincible, something easily to get behind, and no one could take that away from him, or affect the world with the change. But this would doom all of humanity, like Navarro was doing in the first game, with selling a zombie infection. So we fight our way to Marlowe and Talbot, and surprisingly it was easy to stop her from getting the Djinn. I'm not joking, one cutscene and we stop her. So we leave the place, and Marlowe gets stuck in the quicksand.
No.
Talbot has one really funny reaction to this.
No! No!
And we leave, but he somehow gets to us with little problems. But we kill him and properly leave, with Sam helping us. We make it back to where Elena was, and Sully give Nate a ring for Elena. Plus, Sully has a new plane, and that's the game. Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception. In conclusion, this was as the other three. It did end with a satisfying ending, with Indiana Jones having a wife who was his first love interest in the movies, and they spend the time a lot in that film. But I felt like Nate and Elena had a stronger bond. They're Mario and Peach, they're Peter Parker and MJ, they're Aladdin and Jasmine, and so many more examples. But even with that, the action set pieces were the best of the series, barely keeping an extra point in the score, which is a 6 out of 10. And we leave Nathan Drake.
So long, partner.
Wait. A Thief's End. Okay, I'll do A Thief's End. Hopefully it'll have more of a satisfying ending for Nathan Drake.